From the News Channel 5 Network, this is SportsLine.
Welcome into SportsLine here on News Channel 5 Plus. And for Steve Lehman, I'm Jonathan Hutton. Tonight, college football discussion, plus we'll go inside the Titans locker room. The Tennessee Vols preparing for an Outback Bowl matchup against the Northwestern Wildcats. And earlier today, Butch Jones caught up with the media in Knoxville.
But anyways, we're excited, obviously, here today to talk a little bit about the Outback Bowl, but excited to be a part of the 30th anniversary Outback Bowl. And, you know, Jim McVay and the Tampa Bay Bowl Association would like to thank them, but also our administration for doing such a great job. And, you know, University of Tennessee is back to being a commodity when it comes to bowl games, and that's a tribute to our players, to our entire football organization, and our entire athletic department. So obviously we're excited. It's kind of a balancing act right now, you know, in terms of recruiting and finishing and up final exams, in trying to balance this recruiting class. And then our players will have off this week to excel in the classroom. Then we'll get back to really more bowl preparation this weekend. So what I can tell you is very familiar with Coach Fitzgerald. Pat's done a tremendous job there. As you all know, 10-2 football team, won their last 5 games, ranked in the top 15 in every major defensive category that's out there. You know, that'll make, I think this year we've faced 5 out of the top 9 defenses in the country. They're the least penalized team in the Big Ten, which tells you about their discipline as a football team and a football program. They start 11 seniors, and they're the 12th ranked football team in the country. So another great challenge. But again, we're just ecstatic and excited to be playing in the Outback Bowl. So I'll answer any questions you may have.
Start with Mike Strange, Austin, and Jimmy.
Butch, I think 3 years ago today you were being introduced. What do you remember about that day, and just what do you summarize the journey from that day to this day?
A whirlwind. You know, had just won a conference championship at the University of Cincinnati and had a lot of great relationships there and still do. And, you know, everything was accelerated from a long night in Lexington, Kentucky to, you know, finishing up at about 4:30 in the morning and having to go back and tell a football program and a football team that you were leaving, and then going home and showering and getting on a plane and coming to Knoxville. But it's been a great journey. This is a very, very special place. Proud of everything that we're building here. About 15 pounds overweight from that 3-year span, so I'm working on getting that back. But just proud of what we've been able to accomplish here, proud of our players. We have a long ways to go, but it's been a very fulfilling 3 years and a very fast 3 years.
But you've gotten, you know, everybody talks about these 15 practices being big for the younger guys, but for the current team, for this team trying to go to Tampa and win a bowl game, how important are the practices here before you go to Tampa?
First of all, most of our young players are already playing. So we're still not in our football program where, you know, I believe we're redshirting, I don't know the exact number, 5 to 7 players. You know, where most programs, they're redshirting 15, maybe 17, 18 players. So still our youngsters are playing. Some of our youngsters are injured, but it is a balancing act of, you know, getting your youth development that you need, and then also getting your football team prepared to play a bowl game and play winning football. We'll take the first couple days and do all of the above. It's a balancing act, but they are very, very big, not just from on the field, but in the strength and conditioning area, having those extra days to get in the weight room, and I think just the chemistry of your football team as well. So there's a lot that goes into bowl preparation, but first and foremost is doing whatever it takes to win the bowl game. In our preparation and understanding the importance, you try to get most of your work done here before you venture to the bowl site.
Jimmy Himes, and West, and Michael Spencer.
Butch, a couple of questions. One is, why did you visit Northwestern as a staff recently? What was it about that program that made you want to visit them? And secondly, what makes Northwestern's defense so good?
First of all, the first question, in the off season, you're trying to reach out to different football programs that kind of match your style of play or your philosophy. Programs that you respect, that have won over a period of time, and you like what they do. And Fitz has done a great job there of developing and building that program at a high level of consistency. And it was just getting together, which we always do with a number of institutions, a number of schools, and just talking football and having our own mini clinic. And, Mick McCall does a great job. Their offensive coordinator, have a lot of respect for him, have known him for a very long time. In terms of defensively, they're very active. It starts with their front seven. Their defensive line and their linebackers are as good as any team we've seen all year. They're very active. They're disruptive, and they do a good job of the back end of their defense. They create one-on-one matchups. They can win one-on-one matchups. They're aggressive, and they have a great style of play about them.
Wes, and Michael Spencer, then Seth, then John Bryce.
Butch, obviously it's, I guess, silly season now for college football coaches, and things have been actually quiet here for a change. Have you been contacted about any of your guys to this point, about any of your assistants?
Well, it's not my job to speculate on, other programs, job openings and all that. I'll just say this is I deem it when, institutions, if they do want to inquire about our coaches, that is a compliment. That's a compliment to what we're building here, and we have very good football coaches and even better individuals. So again, people understand around the country what we've done here in a very short period of time and how far we've come, and it garners notice across the country. But, in terms of the speculation, that's not my place.
Well, I guess if you didn't field any phone calls during an off season, would you have to do a double take and wonder kind of what staff you had at that point? Because it seems like everybody calls everybody these days.
Well, they do. But also there's a lot of great football coaches out there that unfortunately, have not won a lot. And that's why, when you look at whether you're hiring a coach or whether you're researching individuals, do they do more with less? How are they as a person, as a teacher, as a communicator, as a recruiter? So, a lot of people look at end results, and it's a result-oriented business that we're in. But there's a lot of good football coaches out there that just need an opportunity as well.
Michael Spencer.
Coach, when you look back on last year's trip to the bowl game and how it kind of put things in a positive spin heading into the offseason and into this season, how important is it to kind of continue that, and what can you take away from last year's bowl trip and use in this year's bowl trip?
Anytime you finish the season with a victory, particularly in a bowl game, lends itself to a lot of momentum moving forward, a lot of energy. So obviously that's very important. We're going to be challenged again. They're the 12th ranked team in the country for a reason. And I think it's the maturity of a football team. I believe they have 11 starters that are seniors. So they've been to a number of bowl games where this is only be, half of our team's second bowl trip, and it comes down to the maturity of a football team. Can you manage the clutter, the distractions that a great bowl game brings about? Do you have the self-discipline to do what it takes to get yourself mentally and physically ready to perform, to play winning football on January 1st? All those things that went into it. Last year's football team defined that. They went down to Jacksonville with a purpose to win the football game. And yeah, you're going to have good times and enjoy your teammates, but it's like I tell them, you don't remember those, you remember the game. The game lives with you forever, and you rehearse that game over and over in your mind all the time, and you have to rely on the maturity, and you have to rely on your leadership.
Seth, and John Bryce, Steve, John Adams, Austin, Courtney.
From a recruiting standpoint, just how big is it for the second year in a row to be in a January bowl game in the state of Florida?
Very big. When you followed up again with another January bowl game in the state of Florida, it's big. It's progress. It points towards the progress that we're making here. It points towards a lot of things. So it is a great selling point. Again, this will be our 51st bowl game as a football program. I believe We're the fourth program in the country of most bowl appearances, and we take great pride in that. But it is great for recruiting and the excitement that it brings along. Playing at the noon slot, is great as well. And then anytime you can go to a great bowl game like the Outback Bowl, it shows the progress that you're making.